Welcome to 100 Yards of Football this morning. It's our college football history special. Today, I'm going to highlight the game of the century, 1969 in Fayetteville, Arkansas. December the 6th, Arkansas taking on Texas. If you like the video today, please comment and share it. I'm Vincent Turner, 100 Yards of Football. 1969 was a special time in my life. 9 years old. Just got out of school for the Christmas break. At home on a Saturday. Helping my mother around the house, as my mother, Inez Turner, puts it so bluntly and so graciously, doing my chores. And the chores consist of me cleaning my room up, me taking the garbage out, and me being the son I needed to be to my mother while my father, Chester Turner, was out working for the family. And the one thing that Saturday, I remember being very sunny in my hometown in 901 Memphis, Tennessee. And my mother, you know what she done that day? She said, son, since you want to watch Texas and Arkansas, I'm going to do something for you very special. And that's why I love my mother so dearly. She's still living at 82 years old. She said, I'm going to bake you them good oatmeal cookies with them raisins. And back in the day, that big, nice glass of milk. And I felt like a kid in the cookie jar, man. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee. So I got ready to watch Arkansas and Texas. The two top teams in the country. And the thing that stuck out to me so much about this game, you know, at the time the Vietnam War was going on, I didn't really understand the magnitude of that was happening. I saw protesters outside Fayetteville Stadium, which at the time seated 44,000, but it had a capacity of 46,000, shoulder to shoulder, toe to toe. But the thing that was really exciting about that game, the president, Richard Nixon, flying in on a helicopter with his senior advisor, Henry Kissinger, and they getting out of the stadium and going right up there in the middle of the fans. And then the Longhorn fans, go, Horns, go, go, Horns, go, go, Horns, go. And then the Razorbacks, you know I got to do it. Ooh, pig, suey. People don't know I went to school there from 1978 to 1982. But I didn't know anything about Fayetteville, Arkansas. But the game was exciting. Texas comes out in their wishbone offense. Had defeated everybody that year. Had a very special quarterback in James Street. Had Jim Burleson starting at one halfback. Ted Coy at another halfback and Steve Wooster. But throughout the game, that Texas offense never got going against that Arkansas defense that had one of the best defensive ends in the country, Dick Bumpus. And throughout the game, Texas could not move the ball. They had 5 turnovers, 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions. And that Arkansas defense was dominating. Then Arkansas was moving the ball a little bit. They had a smooth operator at quarterback, Bill Montgomery, who went 14-22 that day for 205 yards. And Chuck Dykes, he was one of the first receivers that had white cleats out there running around. And he looked like white lightning. He ended up having like 9 receptions, 141 yards. And he had a beautiful 29-yard touchdown reception. And Arkansas dominated that football game for 3 quarters and led 14-0 going into the 4th quarter. But however, the first play of the 4th quarter, Texas had a little drive going. They was on Arkansas 42-yard line. James Street drops back. And all of a sudden, he scrambles 42 yards for a touchdown. The first play of the 4th quarter. And all of a sudden, it's 14-6. And then Texas converts the 2-point conversion. It's 14-8. Well, that 4th quarter was defensively going back and forth, back and forth. Texas stopped Bill Montgomery and Chuck Dykes 3 and out. Arkansas stopped Texas wishbone, James Street, Jim Burleson 3 and out. But Texas gets the ball back with almost 4:58 to go, and they go on their final drive. And the play of the game, maybe one of the greatest plays in college football history, 4th and 3. I can't remember the yard line, but I remember the yardage. You're thinking Texas is going to run the football. But Darryl Royal at the last minute caused a 53 veer pass. And if you know about anything about that Texas head coach Darryl Royal, he despised, he hated, he did not want to throw the football. He was the guy that hated the pass. But he called 53 veer pass. And tell you how crazy it was on the sideline. Mike Campbell, the defensive coordinator, at the time says, "Defense, get ready! Defense, get ready!" Probably maybe 5% of the Texas coaching staff did not believe that Texas was going to make it 4th and 3. But you know what? James Street drops back. Randy Pesco, the tight end, goes downfield. James Street throw that beautiful 43-yard spiral in there. And what was so ironic, Randy Pesco was double teamed, and the ball came down between two defenders. Ended up being a 43-yard game. Texas on the Arkansas 18-yard line, and 3 plays later, the Longhorns are in the end zone. And they go up 15-14 with almost 2.5 minutes to go. But however, Arkansas comes roaring back down the field with Bill Montgomery and Chuck Dykes. But under a minute to go, Mr. Campbell's son, Steve Campbell, makes the game-winning interception. And the Texas Longhorns come into Fayetteville, Arkansas, and they win that football game 15-14. The thing I take away from that football game is this. It was the most watched college football game, and still might to this day in college football history. 17 million people. 50% of the share that day across the nation. Let that rest in your head. 17 million people. A 50% share. Roone Otlich, the ABC president at the time, you're a genius, man. And that game really changed college football. And it showed you across the country. We have some very faithful, rabid college football fans in the South, on the West Coast, and in the East. And when I say this one more time, the game drew 17 million, a 50% share, and an 18.2 TV rating. And the thing I liked the most was the post-game activities. Richard Nixon going inside the Texas Longhorns dressing room and proclaiming them national champions in 1969. But however, my postscript, Texas went on and won the national championship, and they beat a real nice Joe Theismann and Notre Dame team 21-17 in the Cotton Bowl. Arkansas went to the Sugar Bowl and ended up losing to Archie, Drew, Mississippi, Manning, and Ole Miss 27-22. But the thing I took out of that game that I even went to see the movie was Freddie Stadmar, who played safety for Texas at that time. That young man played that football game with a knot size of a baseball in his knee, and it turned out to be cancer. And then in 2 weeks, he had to have that leg amputated. No, a week's time. And that Texas football team, one of their best starters and captains, was able to rally around and go beat a real good, as I just mentioned, Notre Dame team and Joe Theismann 21-17. And the thing was so ironic. This is why stories are great in college football. Before that game, Freddie Stadmar comes in the dressing room, nice black coat, fur, with his leg amputated, and gives a pregame speech to the University of Texas. And Darryl Royal, you could go look it on YouTube. You can see the tears coming down on his face, man. I even want to tear up. And Mr. Stadmar ended up passing 2 years later. But think about that. The most watched game in college football. Everybody in the nation. And this young man out of Denver, Colorado, had a size of a ball of cancer in his kneecap and played the whole game. That's why, Freddie Stanmark, I got to give you the Warrior chant. Warriors, come out to play. My final words about that game. Arkansas and Texas, December 6, 1969. It was sung by the Archies. A lot of people who probably watched this video really don't know who the Archies were back in 1969. They were a very popular pop group. And they had a song that went like, oh, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me waiting on you. Longhorns got some candy and sugar that day as they went on and beat Arkansas in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and went on and won the national championship. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. And much love. And to the man that made it happen this morning, my producer, Mr. Logan Landers. I'm not going to call the Hogs. All I'm going to say is this. The Eyes of Texas, hook 'em horns. What a great day in college football. Y'all be blessed. Enjoy the rest of the week. I'm Vincent Turner of 100 Yards of Football.